Now, we do need to talk about cell phones in schools. This is a topic that we've talked about before. We're going to take this down to Arkansas because that's right. There's an entire state that's considering banning phones in the classroom. This year, 200 school districts in Arkansas signed up for a pilot program to test how getting rid of smartphones could work or not. And Ursula, we talked about it here when it was 2 schools. I don't remember the name of those schools in the Seattle School District. And I remember weighing in on it, and I said, yes, I agree. Put those cell phones away. And I remember our former coworker, Mickey Gomez, she was here, and she and I disagree with it because, and then it was other people weighing in on it, and they're on the text line, people weighing in on it. I am changing my mind now, Ursula. I am changing my mind too. I want it to be up to the parent on whether or not their child brings a cell phone to school. I changed it.
And so why did you change it?
I changed it because, look, I think that we parents decide, like, some kids can't go to school with the cell phone because their parents say, no, you can't take a cell phone to school. Some parents say, yes. I also believe that how I was raised or how I came up, even as a parent when my kids were younger, I didn't have on my plate what they have today. We have been through a pandemic. We have been through our kids being at home with us. We are consistently going through, unfortunately, school shootings. We are in an age of social media that is crazy. Me, as a parent, I can go off of back in my day when I was a parent, it was fine. If there was a problem, I could just call up to the school. I think that's unfair for me to say what today's parents are dealing with. That's why I had a reversal on my opinion.
So I actually am in favor of not having smartphone access in the classroom. I mean, I think parents can give their kids cell phones whenever they want, but I think the moment you step onto the school, I think the vast majority of time, those cell phones are such a distraction. They make it so difficult for teachers to actually teach. And every teacher, and I have a lot of educators in my family, and they talk about how things have changed because of cell phones, whether it's kids, taking video of what's going on in the classroom or looking at things that they shouldn't be and not paying attention. It is a distraction. Just think of us as adults and how much our phones are a distraction, even just doing the show. And I would say the vast majority of teachers will say that the cell phones actually hinder teaching. They actually negatively impact academic performance. And the very few times that your child would actually need access to a phone, whether we're talking about a mass school shooting, those times are still, relatively speaking, very rare. And so I would be in favor. Now, I think to say an entire state would do this, I know that individual districts would want to make their own rules, but I'm interested to see how this would work in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that Arkansas is the one that's decided to do this.
Yeah, this again, I was on the no cell phones, don't do it, and I think what has given me pause is easy for me to say, and what I mean by that is I don't have small kids right now. I also am on the other side of a pandemic that was a very serious thing. We are now living in a new time, and here's what I find interesting about the new time that we're living in. It is 2024, but our kids' school curriculum is the same as it was in 1950. They are still required to sit in the same desk for a certain amount of time. I think that our attention spans aren't like they were. As a matter of fact,
our attention spans, though, have been decimated by so much cell phone use. I mean, our attention spans, think about it. You can't sit even for a few minutes without just in general, not talking about you. We cannot sit for a few minutes without grabbing our phone and starting to doodle with something or look into something or you get distracted all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, that doesn't help with a lack of attention. that doesn't help your focus. I'm just trying to think of how many times you would actually need the use of your phone. And I get it in the case of an emergency or a mass shooting. I get it. So maybe have your cell phones accessible within the classroom. So you just, when you walk into the classroom, you give up your phone. But I just think having a kid with a cell phone in a classroom is just not a good thing.
I know this, and for all the parents out there that maybe you have older children, maybe you have kids in college, maybe you have kids in their 20s. Is there ever a time that you're like, you send a text to your kid and be like, hey, I'm leaving my phone at home, but your significant other has their phone? If something like, I don't know, there's for some reason, there's like this anxiety sometimes that is attached to like, I got to have my phone because of my kids.
Yeah, and I would argue that some of the anxiety is caused by that phone.